I'm really excited for our guest tonight, Morten.
Yes, our guest tonight is Vic Gundotra, Senior Vice President for Engineering in Google and head of the Google Plus project. Vic, welcome to us in Sosial Direkte, as we say in Norway.
Thank you very much. Very nice to be on this program.
We are really, really proud, Vic, that you said yes to join us at this program. And you're in your office in Mountain View. You are 9 hours behind us. You are in sunny California, I think.
Yes, absolutely. Google headquarters here in Mountain View. It's a beautiful, beautiful sunny day here.
And you are at the other side of the globe, sort of. What is your thoughts about this way of connecting these social networks like Google Plus? They are sort of connecting people across the world?
Yes, absolutely. You know, I grew up in the world in the age of the internet, and it was amazing that the internet connected computers together. But in the last decade, the internet has become more than just connecting computers. It's about connecting people. And social networks have connected people. But we want to go even further, not just connect people in a news feed, but connect people face to face like we're doing now. We think when you can see someone's eyes and you can talk to them, that is a much richer form of human communication. And so we hope that everyone in every continent can connect the way we're connecting.
And was that your thoughts when you started this project? Because you called the Google Plus vision as a project in the beginning. Why did you call it the project, and what was the vision?
Well, we didn't want to call it a product because we knew that our long-term vision for what Google Plus was going to become was going to take many, many years of effort. And so we called it the Google Plus project. And we've been building on that effort, and it'll take still several more years to complete our true vision. And so we're really just getting started with this project and very excited about the progress that we've made in the last year and a few months.
But you had, before that, tried different other social platforms, Orkut, Wave, and so on. And people started to think that Google didn't get social. They also said that, couldn't you cooperate with the other social networks like Twitter and Facebook? Why did you have to make your own social network?
So that's a great set of questions, and I'm going to tease them apart and answer them one at a time. You know, Google was loved by many people all over the world, and they love all kinds of aspects of Google. They love Google Search, they love Maps, they love YouTube, they love Android, they love Chrome. But we recognized that Google was a separate thing to each of those people. How you shared a video on YouTube with your family was different than how you might share that in Gmail or in Android, or if you found a medical article in Search and you wanted to share that with your family. And so we recognized there was a tremendous opportunity to make Google act as one, so that if you wanted to do things like share pictures or articles or videos, we could make that super simple. And we knew we had to do that for the people who are already our customers. And that's what we started off doing first. Your second question was, could we cooperate with other social networks? Google has historically always been a company that's been about the open web and cooperation. And so where we can have cooperative arrangements, where we can share information, we're happy to do that. It turns out that it's more complicated than just that. You have to get legal agreements in place. You have to respect people's privacy. You have to be able to transfer information across social graphs very quickly. If someone gets a divorce or changes out of a relationship, that information needs to be replicated across all cooperating networks almost instantaneously. And so technically it's been a hard challenge, and we continue to work on that while we continue to build out Google+.
So is it right to say that it's both a way to integrate all the Google products and it is also a social destination?
That's exactly right. Morten, you said it exactly right, that those two are our goals. First, make all of Google unified and beautiful and simple for people who love Google. And then number two, we also believe that the social destination, we could do so much better than what had existed. This video chat, this group video chat that we're doing now, Google Plus Hangout, is an example of something that we thought nobody was doing. No one makes group video chat available for free like we do. And so we're very excited about that.
Yesterday you launched a new service, a sign-in feature. You could sort of say it's like Facebook Graph, Open Graph, if you will try to simplify it. But and it's, I understand that you are then able to connect this Google Plus profile and apps and websites, or log into websites and log into apps through your identity. Is this a third way to use Google Plus to make it your identity all across the web?
That's exactly right, Morten. We heard from users that they loved all kinds of other applications on their phone or on the web, but users seem to be overwhelmed with managing their password credentials for every site they visited. And they loved having to use one credential and the ability to then share that information with their friends. And so there were other social sites that offered login, but we found when we asked people, why don't you use those other social services? They came back with the same answer. They were fearful that if they logged in with their social credentials, their activity on those sites would be inadvertently or frictionlessly shared with their friends. And so we designed a service where you could use the identity you trust, Google, maybe your Gmail account, Google Plus account, and you could log in without having a fear that everything you did on that service would be shared with your friends. After all, people trust Google. They type in search queries and they trust that Google will not share those things. And we are a very discreet company, and thus we've built in a login system, a Google Plus sign-in, that is that discreet.
Is it possible that people that use Gmail or YouTube or other services that you are offering to the market, they get your project, but people that don't use it, they don't really get it? Do you think it?
Well, it takes time when you have a new project, particularly a project that's as expansive and big as Google+. It takes some time for people to understand it. In our first year, I think the last statistics we shared were over 500 million people had signed up to Google+. We had a couple of 100 million active users, and that we also said just in the stream, just on plus.google.com. And those numbers are numbers that we issued last year. That growth and that momentum has continued, and we're very excited about the progress we've made just in the last year and a few months.
Just to get the figures right, did you say last December, I think you said 230 million integrating with or interacting with Google Plus and 130 million on the platform itself. Is that right?
That's right. The 130 million was our monthly active users just on plus.google.com. The 230 million figure was users who logged in with Google Plus, but may be interacting in Gmail or in the Android Play Store or other parts of Google.
What are those numbers now then, Vic? There has been a company called Global Web Index that says that there are 340 million active users globally, while the other analytical firms, they say 100 or 150. What is the right number?
So we did see that report by Global Web Index. It was very exciting. They were using their own methodologies to account for active users. As a company, we've not published any new updates since last year. We will likely publish an update in the future. Obviously, we have very strict regulatory rules that govern what we can disclose and when. But obviously, our momentum has continued and accelerated, and we're really thrilled about that.
So where are you right now in the social network war, if you could say that? Are you now making headway on Facebook?
I think we're incredibly excited about the progress that we've made since we launched about a little less than a year and a half ago. That progress that makes us excited is along two fronts. First is building a beautiful integrated Google. And I think if you talk to someone who's a Google Plus user who uses Gmail or YouTube or Google Search or Chrome, they can tell you how our services are coming together. A second is how are we doing versus other social services. And I think that's for users to judge. You know, we're going to continue to make our product great, make sharing great, be a service you can trust that respects your privacy. And over time, if we continue to earn people's respect for privacy, I think we're going to do great. And the numbers that we have over the past year show us there is an audience of people who love Google and who want to share on Google.
We have, before this program, asked our friends and our community here in Scandinavia if they had any questions. And some of them, like Ivar and Gunnar, they have asked us questions about the difference between Facebook and Google. So you could maybe interpret it, Facebook as being more emotional and Google as more logical, or you could define it as Facebook defining the social graph with friends and family, and Google defining the interest graph. How can Google Plus be more emotional and be more interesting for friends and family?
I think a large part of that is just a matter of time. You know, as more and more people join Google Plus, you're more likely to find your cousin and your brother and your mother and your best friend on Google Plus. The truth is that those users are already on Google. If you think about it, it's your mother, your best friend, you ask them, do they use Google? Do they use Android? Do they use Chrome? Do they use Google? The answer is yes. But historically, Google never brought those services together. It never provided a value for your best friend to tell you they were using Google search. Well, why would they? And so as we add real value, then your best friend will say, yes, I'm using Google. I found this great thing in Google search. Or look at this YouTube video I found. And increasingly, over time, particularly if you look at our momentum in the last year, why, you're going to have every Google user in a great Google Plus state. And then you're going to see this. I think in the early days, you're right. In the early days, just a year ago, when we started Google Plus, it was the early adopters. And when you joined the service a year ago, maybe you didn't know but a few people. I would encourage you to try Google Plus today and look for your cousin, look for your friend. I think you might be surprised at how fast this transition is happening.
You're adding new feature sort of all the time. Sometimes there's happening nothing. There's a pause, or what you could call it. And you are saying to your friends at Google Plus, stay tuned, stay tuned. I have made a stay tuned list for you, Vic, about the vanity URL, that people can have their own name as a URL. And you have the analytical part, and you have the API part that the developers want to see, that you can both publish and read through an API, an application protocol interface. When are we seeing those deliveries?
So all three of those things, the vanity URL, the analytics, and also the API, are all things we are committed to doing. The vanity URL has been rolled out for high-profile users, those with lots of followers, but we really want to bring that to almost everybody, so everybody can have a vanity URL. I think the challenge just becomes, which one do you do first? You know, we have an engineering team and a product team, and we sequence which of, your list is 3, I have a list of several hundred things that we're trying to get done. And so the challenge just becomes, which one is the first one that's going to have the biggest impact? And which one do you do in what order? You know, it is really hard to believe. We've only been at this less than a year and a half. And many of our other social networks are much more mature. They've been at this 6, 7, 8 years. And so we're going to get there. We're going to do amazing things. And I think we even have a few surprises coming up that will help you understand why we prioritized other things first. But those things are on our list.
So we should stay tuned.
Yes, stay tuned.
Okay, what about search and social? You are in the development adding social into the relevance of your search. And Facebook is adding search into their social graph. But in your project, Google's project, can social be a threat to your integrity of the search?
I'm not sure it's a threat to the integrity. I think it's an opportunity. You know, when I do a search on Google for a dentist or a plumber or a restaurant, you know, Google does a great job of giving me information. But oftentimes my friends or people that I know have also very, very good information about those topics. Which camera should I buy? Google gives me a great set of reviews from people. But I have friends who are photography enthusiasts. They have opinions. They've written about those opinions. And so As Google understands not just pages, but people, then the power of Google search and our algorithms can also provide relevancy when it comes to the results that include people. And so I think it's going to be good as many companies, including Google and others, innovate with how do you mix this in? How do you bring in the right amount of social into search? I think it's going to be great. There's a lot of work yet to be done, but the next couple of years are going to be very exciting to watch.
So you believe in social search, but you say that there's different paths or different ways to do it.
I think behind the web of pages, there was always a web of people. And that web of people was dark. It was not lit up. And now with technologies like Google+, we're able to understand other people, who they are, where they live, who are the people that matter to them, what circles are they in. And we're able now to light up a new kind of web that existed before, but was not usable.
This is defined also as a feature. You call it search plus your world. I think that in the Nordic countries we don't have it yet. When can we see it?
That's a great question. I don't know the rollout plan that Search has to take that to other countries. I hate to tell you, stay tuned. But this is a case where sometimes we work on a product and limit it to a country until we can perfect it. And we know it's exactly right, and the data shows us that it's useful, and then we roll it out. Obviously, the Nordic countries are very important for Google. Those are some of the countries where we have the biggest Google fans in the world, and we want to make sure that we can roll it out to you as soon as possible.
I'll right now give you a rather open question, because social networks maybe 4, 6, and 7 years ago was sort of an isolated phenomenon, but today we have social, mobile, local commerce, and we also have social networking in the cloud. How are these trends influencing each other, and what is the driving force behind it?
You know, I have been in software since I was in college. This is all I've done my whole life. It's been over 20 years. I don't remember any time in the past 2 decades where things have been so fast-moving and so exciting. You highlighted the trends that are changing the world, whether it be the cloud, or whether it be mobile, or whether it be social, or whether it be local. Now we're even seeing the emergence of incredible new devices like Google Glass. And so I think it's impossible to predict what happens when you mix all this together. I can tell you that people at Google and other places here have tremendous ideas every day. We come into work with someone having another new idea. What if we connected Google Glass with Google Now and Google Plus, and it knew the location and the stores you cared about? And so I think it just becomes a matter of which one of these are we going to do first, and can we make the technology approachable? One of the most amazing things of Google was that it was just a simple search box. Everyone in the world knew how to use Google. And so in many cases, the breakthroughs that we're going to have in the next couple of years across social and mobile and local is going to be about which company can make it simple and make the technology disappear and just let the magic come through. And that's what we're hard at work at Google. We're trying to make that happen.
One part of this development is also the business agenda. The company that you have been working for before, Microsoft, I think they have said that Google is not really serious about this business part of development, Google Apps or Google Enterprise. Are you in it for the long run?
Well, as some of you may know, I spent 15 years working at Microsoft in the early days. And I can tell you Google, because I've worked at both companies, Google is very serious. Google doesn't do things that they're not serious about. And when it comes to the cloud, and when it comes to enterprise applications, and when it comes to developers, I think our track record with Google Apps and with Chrome and with Android kind of demonstrate that we're serious and we're committed. We're still learning. We're a company that's always iterating and trying to learn and to listen, but we're definitely serious about the markets we're in.
There is one question that maybe people are worrying about. People are going to Facebook and see that more and more of the stream is advertisements. And you are an advertisement company. That is your income and business concept. So when will we see advertisements on Google+?
Well, we have no announcements and no immediate plans to put advertisements on Google+. We are a company that's a relevant advertising company. And remember, when it comes to ads, like in Google search, Google makes no money if the user doesn't click on the ad. And so in our DNA, in our soul, we understand relevance matters where there is no money to be made there. And so we don't think when you're looking at a picture of your daughter on a social network, that's the time to serve an ad. When you're looking at your best friend's graduation, that's not the best time to serve an ad. What is relevant is that when you are searching for remodeling your house, maybe that's the time to serve the microwave ad. And maybe you're looking for new appliances. And so relevancy is what Google is about. That is the soul of our business side. And we're going to continue to apply that and not serve ads when they are not relevant.
Okay, so we don't really know, or what won't it come?
Well, like I said, there's no plans in the foreseeable future. I'm working on the product. You don't have to worry about that in the foreseeable future.
Okay. Some of the features, you are a great photo company. There's a lot of photographers on Google+, and you have YouTube with 900 million members or viewers monthly. When can we see a more robust development from Google, challenging Instagram and using YouTube to win the Google Plus war, or what you could say, to really give more movement into this platform?
Yeah, we really don't think about like what competitors are doing and how we're going to challenge them. We do see, as you say, plenty of opportunity to unify YouTube and Google Plus. You know, today, why should you have to have a different profile for one service versus another? Why are commenting systems different? Why are sharing semantics different? And so, of course, when it comes to Google properties, we're going to make these beautifully consistent. And I think that's a win for users. And that's where our focus is, making it better and simpler for users. And the rest will take care of itself.
So a commenting system, which is also all over the web, it is also a stay tuned issue, or?
Yes, that's right. We have nothing to announce today, you know, but we're working on all these kinds of issues.
Yeah. Okay, if you look a little on this community side, because we know that you are a fan of it, and you introduced Google Communities before Christmas, and you also have this Hangout feature. Has this made any change in the engagement on the platform? Can you see the change?
Absolutely. Every day we come into another records on communities. The usage is fantastic. We're very excited about that. We've never publicly released any numbers on communities, and I'm not going to release any numbers today other than we're very, very excited. The growth continues on a very regular basis, and it makes sense, right? If you're very passionate about Audi cars, you're not likely to post in the mainstream 5 times a day about your fascination with Audi or BMW. But if you are in an automobile enthusiast community, why, then fine, you can post 5, 6 times a day on your cars. And that's exactly the behavior we're seeing. We're seeing people join communities for the things they care about, from religious church groups to automobile sites to school issues, you know, and we're seeing higher engagement, more usage, more posting. And then those communities are using other features of Google+, like Hangouts, even in a more accelerated way, and we're seeing more people get connected together, which is super exciting for us.
I heard somewhere that near 50% of the world's population is under 20, and they are definitely 100% of our future. And as they grow up, I'm sure many of them will use glass, and fewer will drive their own car. Glenn Gåsland asks, how do you see the future 10 to 30 years from now about new innovations and on how we are all connected?
I do think software is going to change the world. Whether it comes to driving cars or whether how people connect with each other, we are at the beginning of a software revolution that's going to change the future for our children, I think in a very positive way. And which is why I'm so excited to be at Google. I think to participate at Google, whether it be with self-driving cars or with Google Glass or Google Android or Google Plus, I think is an amazing opportunity. And I'm very optimistic about what this means for our children.
A last question for you, Vic.
Yes.
Yourself then, or your family, or your friends, or yourself, what is your favorite feature on Google Plus?
Oh my goodness. What's my favorite feature, I'll tell you, is circles. You know, I share publicly. I have millions of followers on Google Plus, but even more than I share publicly, I share to my family circle. And the way my family stays in touch, and to use the same product that I communicate to millions of people, but to share pictures of my children, funny comments, to have instant upload work just for my family is amazing. And so whether I'm in a hangout with my father or whether I'm in a hangout with Trey Ratcliffe, it is amazing that this tool can span my personal life and my public life just because of the use of circles. So that's my favorite feature.
Vic Gundotra, Vice President, Google Engineering. We are really happy that you shared on half an hour with us, and we wish you a nice day and good luck both with your family sharing and the interest sharing on this Google Plus in the future.
Morten, it was a pleasure. Thank you for having me on your program.
Thank you.